Welcome to episode 131 of Both Down, the number one Blood Bowl podcast.
Coming from, well, not currently, but was at Wizards Asylum in Norman for Orclahoma Bowl and Spiky Cup.
You didn't
Whatever.
really know what you were going to say.
No, I was going to say Norman, but I was like, we already did Norman, whatever.
Right, and that is Steve Kilowoggy Campbell.
How's it going, sir?
I think I'm still recovering from Orclahoma Bowl, if that's even possible.
I completely understand, yes.
Orclahoma Bowl, that's all we're going to talk about this episode. It was amazing, fun time. And I'm still tired because usually I take off a day or two after Orclahoma Bowl, but this year I couldn't, and I went right into training for what they call non-radar at where I work, and that's basically like if you didn't have a radar and a plane was flying overhead and you wanted to calculate where it's going to be 10 minutes from now and on what air highway and all that stuff, and it's a lot.
It sounds pretty horrible.
It was a week filled of like mental stress of trying to learn this new thing, and I still don't know if I got it, but I'm done with the training. But I would come home not trying to take a nap, and I would fall asleep somewhere where I just sat down and like relaxed, and then like an hour and a half later I'd get up and then I'd cook something to eat, and like 2 hours after that I'd go right to bed. And I mean right to bed. I was just like so mentally drained from the weekend and learning new stuff that like I went to bed for the first time all week at like before 10 every night, easily. Most of the time before 9.
Yeah, the weekend was definitely draining, and then I actually did take off Monday, but not a whole lot of rest since, girlfriend has to go to work still, and the kids have to go to school, and this and that, so it was still just annoying. And then I think I was fighting off a bug that someone probably gave me, because I was like really more tired than I should have been for even until like yesterday. Like a week after.
I mean, it's now been almost 10 days, so we all should start having symptoms right now if we got something, right?
Well, I don't think that. I just felt like I had that tiredness you get when you get like a flu bug or a cold and you're trying to fight it off.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of had that.
So you're the guy with the flu.
I don't know.
You were open mouth kissing people, so therefore...
Well, I mean, it's what they wanted. You got to give people what they want.
Yeah, I hope we did. I mean, like...
we heard nothing but good things unless you talked to me about it, and then it was the worst one we've ever done.
Right. Well,
but we'll get into that.
That's kind of how I felt too. So, with that said, is there anything else like Blood Bowl that you want to talk about real quick before we get into the Orclahoma Bowl weekend?
Not really. Like, I mean, even the league, like I haven't been able to get my league game in. I'm be doing that this Thursday.
The league kind of cracks me up. Before we started March, I said you're only going to get one game at max, and people were like, "Well, I want 2, right? I could do 3," and I was like, "No, we want you to come to Orclahoma Bowl." Well, I could easily get 1 done. Well, this is the last week of the league, and there's still some games pending. So.
I think it's just me, and that's understandable.
Okay. Well,
and
that's your fault, Steve.
I think Matt Strickland actually was looking to get a game in last weekend. He's got the bug.
Oh, he was just looking for anybody just to play.
Yeah, just to play. Any type of game.
Yeah. So, of course, he's got the bug. Blood Bowl is great when you get around other Blood Bowl people, and then you get the fevers. So, I mean...
Yeah. Remind me to bring that up because we heard that feedback too. So,
okay. Well, do you want to talk about Norse real quick?
Yes. Norse came out.
You're excited,
Not
right?
officially. I'm so stoked. This is like my team, the one team that I'm going to get 2 boxes, going to get all the stars from Forge World.
You're going to get 2 boxes?
I have to.
All right. Well, then I want your second pair of the boars.
No. So if you haven't seen the team, it does come with beer pigs now, or beer boars. And I have to have at least 12 of those so I can field a team.
Oh, gosh. You're going to be that guy.
Yes.
There's no
Do
way
you
they're going
do
to be
you
like a 0 to 12 position.
do no, it's not. I'm sure it's not.
You're
However,
going to proxy them.
you know what this is going to be. I've had this idea for a team for it almost as long as we've been playing.
Okay.
And I had little minotaurs for the snotlings or
Okay.
noblars now. I
Uh-huh.
want an ogre team where the ogres are minotaurs. And the beer boars are going to be perfect for noblars.
Hmm. Okay.
Mod them, change them up some, paint them different. It, it,
So
I'm
you're still going to try to make a Minotaur team that's proxied as ogres?
ogre team with minotaurs. Yeah,
Okay.
I've
I
got all
mean,
the models.
sure. I mean, you should just get them 14 boars so you can give me two of them.
Well, whatever. I'm sure you'll find plenty of boars.
Let me tell you something. Actually, the sculpts look amazing, and I really, really, really want to buy them and get them painted. And
Yeah.
at the same time, years ago, many, many years ago, I got my Norse team painted up
Mm-hmm.
along with my Amazon to match positionals.
And they do
So
look
if I
good.
wanted, and if I wanted a female thrower, I could have a female thrower, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So technically, besides buying some pigs, and we don't know yet how many, is it, I'm
Right.
assuming just two because they come in the box,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't know. Anyways, right now I just need some pigs because I don't need anything else. And I don't know if I'm gonna buy this. I mean, I want to buy them because I love the new
Sure.
sculpts, but I like the new sculpts like on the Chaos team too. They're just different. But
Yeah.
realistically, I'm not. I don't enjoy painting, so I'm gonna
This
have to get somebody else to buy the team.
right.
So
So this
whatever.
is going to be my team. Like I said, where I send it off to get professionally painted. I'm going to get a custom pitch from Jack. I'm probably going to take these to the World Cup. These are going to be my team that I play for a long time at tournaments.
Okay.
I'll know every tournament, but like last time with the World Cup, which we should also mention, what God, we haven't done this in a while. World Cup is going to be in Alicante, Spain, so I'm excited to go there.
Right.
You gonna try?
We'll talk about that during the shout outs. Bring this
Okay.
back up in the shout outs, and I'll tell you
Okay,
my
everyone. We need to start a Patreon so you can support Scott and I go into the World Cup. We will do videos. We will do
I mean,
if you give us enough money, we'll do any type of video you want. We'll just put it out there.
yeah, I'm actually like I'm okay for that. I could be a whore for money.
But
No, we'll bring that up. But yeah, I was going to actually bring up World Cup in the shoutouts as well. But
okay, yeah.
I wanted to talk the Norse just because I know
I'm
like that was your very first
stupid
team when
excited. Yeah.
when I taught you the game. That was the first team you bought, and you actually painted them,
Mm-hmm.
and you have your little lore and stuff for them. So that's just a big deal to you. So
Yeah.
I do, like I said, I think the models look fantastic. I would really love to buy this team or two boxes and have them, but at the same time, I just don't know. I go back and forth all the time now of like, do I need more stuff or not? So
Yeah. I get it. And I even bought another third ed team with other Orphaners to paint up a new version of the Campbell Claymores, just so I would
I,
have my original ones and then a fancier version. So now I can get rid of that team and just go with the new team.
I have at least two or three extra like sets of models that could also be Ulf runners. So I
Yeah.
totally get you. So I feel your pain, my friend. I feel your pain. But nice models. They should get big credit for
Yeah.
that. And I look forward to the spike and stuff like that really quick, and then we'll get on to Oklahoma. I promise. And I know it's rare that we talk about actual Blood Bowl in the opening segment here. The new little star player guy that throws a beer keg or a
Yeah.
bomb, that's just Boomer Esiason, right? I mean, we
I
used to have the
mean,
Boomer Esiason model where he threw a bomb
maybe, but this
because
is
he's a dwarf,
better.
right?
Boomer was a dwarf. Yeah.
This guy's a dwarf too, right? He has to be a dwarf.
No, he's a Norse guy.
I think he's going to be a
Is he?
big dwarf that plays for both.
Is
That's
he?
what I think.
He doesn't look like a dwarf to me, but it's possible, I guess.
I mean, it's possible too, but I really feel like this is the guy who replaces Boomer Esiason, the old
Well, yeah,
character
of
that they
course
had
he
model for.
does, but I mean,
That's why I think he'll play
He's
with dwarves. Is what I'm
much,
getting at.
yeah. He's
Even
much
if
better
he's
than
a
that.
short human or a big human or a regular human or whatever, I think he'll definitely play with dwarves. So that's my
Yeah.
prediction. Not like that's a big jump off the path there type deal, but
Well, I mean, he's gonna throw a keg, knock down some big guy, and that little pig's just gonna run up and foul him.
maybe.
That's what he's there for.
All right. Well,
We
we'll
shall
see.
see. Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else, real quick?
No, I think we can end this and come back with the Friday festivities and all the stuff leading up to the day of, if you like.
All right. We will take a short break and we will come back with the Friday and Saturday night adventures of Stephen Scott go to Orclahoma Bowl. No, Stephen Scott host Orclahoma Bowl.
And Spiky Cup. Orclahoma Weekend.
Yeah, that's what I meant to
Yeah.
say. Dang it. God,
I
that's
know.
the bad thing about saying just one because you default to bowl because it was the
Mhm.
first one. Stephen Scott hosts Orclahoma Bowl weekend. See, I did it again.
It's
Damn it.
fine. It's good enough.
Stephen Scott hosts
Stephen Scott.
Orclahoma weekend.
Orclahoma. Stephen Scott. JR. Okay. Okay, we are back. We're going to be talking about what's leading up to Orclahoma Weekend. So first off, we were not really sure this was going to happen until kind of last, couple of months beforehand. The way things were looking, we didn't know. So everything turned out much better than we expected. We did not expect to have this many people.
What Steve is saying is we both felt like we threw this together at the last second
Mhm.
in every aspect. As like designing the dice, getting the cards done, coming up with the ideas, making sure Wizards was cleared
Yeah.
off, everything.
And people listening to this, they don't even know that we gave away a new figure because we haven't even posted that.
Well, it's because we didn't know if it would get done in time, so we
A good thing.
couldn't.
I mean, yeesh.
Yeah,
Should I just talk about that now so we get it out of the way?
sure, if you want to.
So, big deal. We went ahead and got him modified so he has a number one fan, a foam finger on him instead of a spike. So he looks awesome. I got it done. I sent it to a guy literally down the road from us here in Moore. And I was like, hey, can you print these off? He's like, yeah, no problem. So I sent it to him. Supposed to have him ready the week of. I'm like, can you do it a little bit earlier? I got other projects. I'm like, okay, understood. And then he goes into the hospital the day before he was supposed to have him done. And I was like, I know you're in the ICU, but and thank you for getting to me. So
no, that was really awesome that he let you know and still leave us hanging.
yeah, I mean it's good, but I was just like, oh crap. I reached out to a couple people I knew that had 3D printers, and Mike Patterson is to be commended for just going, yeah, we got 2 days. That's plenty of time. I'll get it done. And he did. He got them all printed for us. We were able to give them away at the tournament. No problem. No one was any wiser. So I've got a lot of these because he did some, and the guy had some already done before he went into the hospital. He pulled through, so he gave me the other ones and refunded me the rest and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that was I don't like that. I don't like getting stuff at the last minute. I like
Well,
having stuff done at least a month in advance. This is
I
why.
agree, and that's why I didn't. And I'm glad we didn't advertise that we are going to have a miniature because we just didn't know. And like you said, I think it was about December. I think you was like, dude, we got to get some Oklahoma if we're going to run it. Are we going to run it? We don't know. And this and that. And anyways, we felt like
And I told you to update the NAF.
What's that?
And I told you to update the NAF because I didn't have access at the time.
Yeah, and Steve told me to put it on the NAF website, and then I just don't remember him saying that. I know he did, but I just don't recall it. But anyways, it was about I think 10 days before the NAF, before the weekend. Brad Wells gets a hold of me and goes, "Is this not going to be NAF approved?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And we had to scramble to get it onto the NAF. So we really felt like we've kind of half-assed this, and yet at the same time, I guess you could say, I mean, I think it's just because we did everything at the last second
Yes.
instead of 6 months out. We did everything 3 months in.
And the good
You
thing
know,
is, I mean,
but
us,
but we've done it before, so
yeah,
therefore we kind of pulled it off. So I don't want to have another one like this.
nope.
And at the same time, I know we could do it if we had to.
Yeah, but now we've got plenty of time. We got plenty of ideas. We know the next one's going to happen, bar any future calamity that may happen.
World
So,
War III
yeah,
and a new plague,
any of those, some type of
the Horsemen of
pestilence. Yeah,
Apocalypse,
Archangel just comes down, slices us to ribbons.
an alien invasion. Who
Yeah,
knows?
any of
Um,
those, well, we should be good. So we're already getting it started. We're going to do new pitches. We're going to do some fancy, awesome stuff. We're going to get it promoted like 6 months in advance to let people know.
that would be crazy.
I
The
know.
only caveat to that is like the Magic tournament at the comic store is like our big thing, but we'll worry about that as we get to it. Can we start talking about Friday night?
Yeah, absolutely. I just
So
wanted to put that out there because that was beforehand stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Well, everything though was still kind of like, oh god, we need to do this. Like I believe it was a week before we said like, are we gonna do anything for Friday night? We
Yeah.
were like, nah, I think it'd be okay if we don't. And then I think it was like Sunday, I said, Steve, I think we should. And so I went to talk to one restaurant here in Moore, and they were willing to do it, but they weren't like totally sold. Like they were just being wishy-washy. I wanted somebody to be excited that we were going to maybe bring 20, 30 people there. And so the next day I thought, Steve, we could go down to Norman and do it at this barbecue place. And I
Ray's
called,
Barbecue off Highway 9.
and not that I eat dinner there a lot, but I do eat the breakfast tacos. So therefore, I knew at least the breakfast tacos were good.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they don't sell them at night. But anyways, I figured they had a lot of space, and I called them up, and the lady gave me the reception I wanted. She was so happy that we were going to come down there. And I told her, like, I can't guarantee if there's going to be 10 people or 50 people, but we have 52 people coming into town. And she was really happy about that. And they saved us some seating, and it worked out just beautifully. We showed up at about 7 o'clock. This was what was the place called? It's
Ray's
Rudy's.
Barbecue. Oh, Rudy's Barbecue. Yeah.
Rudy's.
Sorry.
Rudy's Barbecue on Highway 9 down in Norman, and everybody came in. Everything's kind of a la carte, which is different because I didn't even realize that, because usually at barbecue places you can go, oh, I want a rib dinner, or I want a brisket dinner, and get a couple sides. Everything was just like however you want it. So if you wanted a half pound of meat, you could get that, or a quarter pound.
And it was really good, honestly. Like, I
Yeah, you
wanted to
had a
go
sandwich.
back. Yeah, I had turkey with the hot,
Hot link,
no, hot
like barbecue
pork.
sauce.
Hot pork.
Oh, spicy pork,
Yeah. Whatever they
spicy
called it.
chop,
Spicy chop.
spicy.
There we go.
Yeah,
It's
the
like
spicy
chopped
chop is
pork
good.
with hot, or I guess, sort of heated barbecue sauce.
Yeah, it's not really spicy, but
No,
it's
but it went so good together.
good. We just got some meat by the pound or whatever, and some sides and stuff. Anyways, we had a good meal, and again, I still was thinking like, I wonder if anybody's in the show. We just know one or two people might show up, and we had. At one point, I counted 23, and then I recounted and I counted 27. And then I realized that there was some people like outside and in the doorway. So I was like, I'm calling it 30. So if we had 30, we had 30 there. We had 60% of our field
It was
pretty
awesome.
much there, hanging out. There were some people were drinking and stuff because there was beer there, but eating, and people just got along, which was great, because there was even some of the local guys that would, showed up, and, you know, they just, hey, can I sit over here? They're like, sure. And, I like seeing kind of that fellowship of
Yeah.
everybody kind of getting together and hanging out and stuff. So it was a good time. We stayed, and I think until they closed, or pretty close.
We
No, we
left a
stayed
little bit
until,
early. We left like 9
yeah, we left
because
at
we still
9.
had to get back to the store.
Yeah, we had to go drop off the stuff. So we hung out for a couple hours, and some people stayed behind. And then we went over to the store and dropped off everything we could. Then we all went home
Mm-hmm.
to get a night's sleep. Michael and them came over to borrow a board game, which turned into them staying, and which meant I got almost no sleep, which
And
was
no one called me, which I'm glad because I would have gone over and then I would have hated it.
Oh my gosh. Like
The
it
next
was
morning, ugh,
look, the excuse to get together is Blood Bowl, but we really kind of actually enjoy some of each other's company, believe it or
yeah.
not. So yes, it was fun that they stayed around and we played Scoville. It was Brian too and his son JJ and Michael Lewis and then me and Jennifer. But oh my god, I was so exhausted when they left. And then as soon as they left, I got my second wind and I couldn't fall asleep. And I
Hmm.
worried about everything for the tournament. And at least at one point, it was past 2 the last time I checked the clock. And of course, my alarm went off at like, 5:30, 5:45, something like that.
Yeah, because we left at what 6:15, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got up and took a shower and got dressed and everything. So like
Yeah.
I was really freaking tired Saturday. But we met down at the shop. Um, we started setting up stuff. Some of our, what do we
Nice.
call them? Staff members, Dustin and
Helpers.
John showed
Yeah.
up. Yeah,
At
they,
this point, through staff, I guess. Yeah.
yeah, because Dustin and them do so much for the tournament and stuff that like, yeah, they're just part of the Oklahoma Bowl staff or
Organizing committee.
Oklahoma Weekend organizers and stuff.
Yeah.
So, John and me were setting up tables. You were setting up like
The
the
computer and
ticket
the mat.
stuff.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
even with what 2 hours almost, still wasn't enough time. It's never enough
we
time.
for sure had over an hour and a half, and we barely got everything together.
Yeah.
So, without them being there, I don't know if we would have been ready. So,
No.
um, you know how I teased, if anybody shows up early, I'm not letting you in. And of course, people were there early, but
Yeah.
I
Apparently,
can't
my fault.
I can't really fault them because I guess the website said 7:30 and the rules packet said 8 o'clock. So,
Yeah, I think that's
uh,
something we tried last year where I
I,
just forgot.
well, anyways, I'm not going to make fun of anybody for showing up early because it's not your fault. It was in two different places. Wrong.
Yeah, we'll get that updated next time.
So, um,
But yeah, not to bury the lead, we had 52 people,
we would have
which
had 54 if Steve would have just played a couple rounds.
I, so, and this is in no way meant to call him out, but we only had one person drop. And it
Oh,
was a
we're calling
person
him
from
out.
California who couldn't come because of a work thing.
Moon Webster, I'm calling you out. Why didn't you show up? I could have played.
But that's insane.
No,
We've
I.
never had any tournament where we don't have 10% drop.
That's true.
And this was only one, and it was the furthest one who had obviously the least chance of getting here because of everything had to line up. um
Yeah, that is crazy. That's the least amount of drops that we've had. Most of our league guys were there, which
yeah.
was really cool to see. And I still am mad at you though, Moon, because I don't like sitting around at those things. I don't. Steve, hats off to you for always volunteering to. I'll just run the event because I guess I have ADHD or something. I can't sit there all day. It drives me insane.
I'm not
So,
saying it's the most fun thing in the world, but we do make sure everything gets done. So,
well, that's true. All right.
and everything went, I mean, swimmingly well, aside from me messing up some stuff. But we can get to that. Or actually, I'll just throw it out now. I think I messed up on the tickets because we had two raffles going on, and they did different things. I messed that up, but Scott was able to fix that, so that was awesome. And then I just input a couple things wrong. I felt very rusty from not having done it for a couple of years.
I think Rusty is the perfect feeling of everything
Yeah,
just felt like, oh yeah, why did I start to do something this way? I
yeah,
know better, but I did it wrong.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it ultimately, no one cared. Everything went fine. We got the pairing mix-ups were fixed in under a minute each time, so not a major deal. I just felt like, oh no, I let everyone down. I'm disappointing everybody. But
You did. Everybody's mad at you, Steve.
I know. I'm used to that though.
Everybody's mad at you.
We did
What what
have
are, what are we mad at you for?
messing up stuff,
Oh, okay.
but whatever. But no one had a bad thing to say, and Again, 52 people. Next time, if we have more people, which I think we will, which do you know if this is like our second highest attended or third?
We really should like have these stats written down somewhere, but I
Yeah,
don't know. We've had, I want to say this is
I
at
think we had
least,
54 one time.
yeah, I want to say this is at least the third tournament that's gone over 50, but
Yeah,
we really might have had a few more,
I don't think so. I think,
or maybe this is the fourth one, maybe.
I don't know.
Uh, all I know is I didn't get to do my Oklahoma Bowl weather,
Sure didn't.
and that really made me mad because we had 50 people.
And it's
And
funny because Dean, who usually complains the most about it, was taking that into consideration with his build and expecting to have bad weather.
well, good for him. You had to plan for it, right?
Yeah. And then
I
it
mean,
got
no,
taken away.
honestly, I thought we'd get 40 easily, but I didn't think we were going to get 50 easily. Not this year. So,
And we'll get to it, but there's a big drop off between Saturday and Sunday, bigger than we've ever had before as well. Which means, and again, after talking to a lot of people came in for the one day. And we're like, it was my first tournament. I didn't know how things would go. And every single one of them that I talked to or heard from was like, this was the most amazing time. I loved it. I met so many cool people. I can't wait for next year. I'm going to do both days.
I heard
You
that
know,
a lot too.
and it just feels good as an organizer when someone enjoys it so much. Then they're like, yeah, next time I'm going to do this twice.
Yeah, I heard people say like I'm going to tell my other like league people or people I game with.
Mm,
It sucks that we had to go back. We're leaving tomorrow morning to go back to Chicago, Illinois,
yeah.
Chicago area. But no, we're definitely going to be back next year and stuff like that. So like that is all super positive. Um, do you since neither one of us played, it's kind of hard to go like throughout the matches. I
No,
will say, I will say this: JJ2 had dwarves and Griff, and he was on the top two tables pretty much all day until the very end. So,
pretty much.
do we want to go over
Sure.
awards?
I'll just go from bottom to top since I have the sheets.
Okay,
Back of the pack went to David Norcross. Stunty Cup went to Dustin Parsons. Best Sport went to Kyle Longo. Fan Fave went to Josh Whitley. Most Brutal went to Sean Cowley. Best Defense went to JJ2. Best Offense went to Drew Buticone. Delzine Cup, or third place, Adam Moosen. Second place, William Toops. And the champion, Dave Hanrath, with Orcs.
this is Orclahoma Weekend 10. It is the first time officially that regular orcs, well, even black orcs because they weren't around, but orcs finally win Orclahoma Bowl, which is
I know.
amazing.
And on the 10th anniversary, too. That's pretty awesome.
Isn't that really cool? Like
Couldn't,
that kind of just made my day. And there was two undefeated people, just in case people want to know. So it came to tiebreakers and extra points and this and that. So,
yeah,
or I guess there was two undefeated. Maybe somebody else had a tie. I could be wrong on that.
I
I
don't.
think there was a draw, maybe.
I like how everyone that comes to me is like, well, how many people did this? How many people did that? I'm like, I don't have a freaking clue.
No, there might have.
I'm pretty sure
I
he was
can't.
the only undefeated
Okay. Well,
because
I
he had
mean,
265 and the next one is 231. So he was
oh,
30
okay.
points ahead.
Okay. Well, I mean, I could tell you really quick on the other guys because I wanted to talk about that individual here in a second. But no, I just think it's just crazy that. Well, it's not crazy because Orcs is not that great, right?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody thinks about them and stuff. But I just think it's
They're
awesome.
really just like humans. They're just a solid mid team.
And he didn't take Crom of any sort. He just took regular players, from what I remember. I could be wrong on that. He might message back and say, hey, I took Varig or something like that, but I don't think he did that at all. So the second place guy did have a tie. So therefore, Dave ended up being the only all four wins at Orclahoma Bowl for Orclahoma Bowl 10. So congratulations to him. Also, not only do Orclahoma Weekend attract like top players like Brian too, and so many, Dave and Mike Patterson, some of
So
these guys, Drew. But this weekend, from the results of Orclahoma Bowl 10, William Toops from Springfield, Missouri, became the highest ranked Lizardmen coach in America. So
that's
congrats to him.
pretty crazy.
He has a ranking of 223.25.
And after my taking them to Chaos Cup and doing middling, and then taking them as a stunty team to Missouri, no, I'm never going to do well with those.
I'd like to see where you're
I,
at on that, Steve.
I wouldn't. It's going to be very low.
Is it?
I did find Dave's roster, by the way.
You did? Okay.
He had,
I'm sure people would actually be interested in like hearing his build.
so
So
he's got 4 biggins, 2 with guard, 2 with block, 4 blitzers, 1 guard, 1 frenzy, a thrower with block, 1 lineman, 1 goblin, and a troll with guard, with 3 rerolls, and 1 assistant coach.
hmm.
So just a bare bones, the Blacktooth Cowboys orc team.
Yeah, but Dave's not just a schlup of a coach, though.
No,
He's a
definitely
good
not,
coach.
obviously, but it's interesting that it was just a regular orc team. It wasn't stars that did it. It wasn't anything else. It's
Right.
just orcs.
Um, that might be my only playing 2 tournaments this year and observing another is, man, like stars are like a big deal,
Mm-hmm.
like a really big deal.
And then
So
people
I
will
don't
point
know.
to
I'm not going to complain about it yet because I
right.
haven't played enough or observed enough.
People
So
will point to this and go, "See, winning team didn't have a star."
yeah, I mean they can.
So,
I
and
still think it's good coaches
yes,
play better than regular coaches.
well, no doubt.
Steve, I'm
Yes.
looking at your Lizard Man team,
Okay.
and you're like, I don't know, you have like 143.9. You're ranked 226 in America.
Yay.
That's not too bad.
Check my Amazons though.
Why? Are they great?
I think these are my best.
I
I
mean,
don't know if I
I
don't
can
know if
try to
that's
look at them.
great, but I think they're my best.
I'm gonna look them up now just because for fun.
I think I took
Yeah,
them to 2 tournaments and lost 1 game.
you're 37th in the United States. I'm 20th, so
Yeah, still beat you at a tournament with them.
you sure did, sucker. Um. Anyways, we gave a hats off. I mean, we're probably going to do this again there in shout outs, but we had a lot of people. We had quite a few items to raffle off,
Oh
but we
God, we
also
did
had
so
a
many.
lot of people donate items for the raffles as well. And somebody said thanks for making Oklahoma Bowl so great, and I told them like, you people make this great. I mean, really.
Yeah,
Yeah, yes, we asked the store if we can run the events. Yes, the store is very, very, very nice by not charging us anything and letting us open the doors early and hang out and everything. But really, Oklahoma Bowl is becoming like a big community thing now, especially with this one. There was over half the items that we raffled off were donated, and that was just pretty freaking awesome.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
windmilled games,
the old
Lasersmith,
Lasersmith,
even William Toops with his 3D printer, Mike Patterson,
Sean
um,
Crawley,
Sean Crowley.
Callie made some
Yeah.
teams and stuff. We also had we gave away the team from the World Cup from a couple
Yes,
years back.
Friends of Nuffle. So our charity that I've mentioned multiple times, but it's still unfortunately in its infancy because of COVID and governmental problems. Finally got its 501c designation, so we are able to get it up and running. So I'll be opening up the Facebook and the Twitter and figuring out how to do all that shortly and get a web page. But we did finally raffle off the World Cup team that Scott Hess donated, Dustin Parsons painted and made an amazing base for,
Oh, the
and
base was amazing. It
we
looked
had
like a
some,
book
yeah,
that was opened up, like a storybook, and then like all the little miniatures fit in there.
because all these creatures are from the basically fairy tales of Dornbirn, Austria.
That team went to, I believe, Kellen. Um,
No,
uh,
not it was Asher Minor,
oh,
right?
Asher won it? No, I think it was Kellen.
Was it Kellen?
Kellen. It was Arthur's kid, I
Oh
believe.
man, I should know this.
Yeah, you didn't write this down.
No, I was kind of busy. I forgot. Dude, I forgot to even take photos, man. Uh,
Well,
yeah,
you're
like I said, it was not the best run tournament in my eyes, but whatever. Either way, awesome. We raised little under 400, so I bumped it up to 400 for the charity. We got a lot of people signed up for it, and like I said, we're going to get the website updated and go over. We got to do a first official meeting with the board and get the bylaws and blah 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 due to the actual designation and get that all taken care of. But hoping this will be an annual thing that we can do something fun and do a big giveaway and do other tournaments and sponsor stuff. We don't know yet, but um, I realized also that was part of the reason I didn't want anything to do with Blood Bowl for a while after Orclahoma last time was because of Brian, our friend who passed away. That that's why we're doing the charity. Um, but yeah, having to deal with all that, and then I've got all those figures with him and his teams, and I was like, yeah, I just don't want to deal with all that. So,
yeah.
but that's okay.
Uh, I don't mind doing it. I had a few people actually talk since we had some of the miniatures still to sell and stuff. A few people came up and said, I'm gonna get one of these before I leave. I think it's really cool that
Yeah,
memorialized your friend that way and stuff. So that made me feel really
I'm good
good.
with it
So
now. But yeah, after the last tournament with COVID and
no, I
with
get it.
that tournament and everything else just crappy going on, I was like, yeah, I'm just kind of yeah.
After the event, we kind of picked up the store a little bit. Everybody kind of did their own thing, and eventually
I
I
don't
know
even.
like the Colorado guys went out and did some stuff. Some other guys
Oh
went out
yeah,
and did some
I was like, I
things.
can't remember what we did. We went out to pizza,
We eventually went out and got some pizza.
kind of a
Um,
late birthday party for you and Drew.
yeah, I guess so. That was pretty cool. I mean, it's always cool to
Oh,
have a birthday weekend
speaking of, have you seen the dates for next year
for my birthday.
for Oklahoma Bowl?
No,
There are two
I mean,
options. It's either March 11th, which would be amazing, or your
why
guys'
March?
birthday.
Oh, it's the exact day. Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
either way, we're gonna win.
yeah.
Let's make it a week of Blood Bowl that we start on the 11th and we end it on my birthday,
Um,
and I'll
I don't.
share it with Drew.
I don't think people want to be in town for a week, but if they want
We could
to,
have a tournament every night of the week. That'd be amazing.
I
You
mean,
could
we
you could
could.
knock off a lot of your NAF teams, like if you wanted to play different teams.
That's true. Every night though, so starting at 6,
Well, it's just two
going
games a night. We're gonna have four tournaments: a Saturday one, a short one on Sunday, one that overlaps Monday,
Monday,
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
We're gonna break
Okay,
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then have a full tournament on Saturday.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that sounds feasible. We'll certainly do that.
I mean, it'll be Orclahoma Weekend 11. It's Nuffle's magic number.
And 12 and 13 and 14.
Oh boy. So really nothing else exciting happened after that. I went
We had
to
velvet taco for lunch.
we did, if people want to know. And I'm shocked you ate your food.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of fancy tacos, and by fancy I mean some hipster got high and decided to throw crap on a taco. But
Yeah, like I had a Korean taco that has like rice and some type of Korean
yeah,
sauced up meat and stuff like that, and a jalapeno. And Steve had some like rotisserie chicken one.
yeah, and it was really
They're
good. They were messy as hell, but
oh,
they were
they're
good.
messy. I was just shocked you ate it because it had vegetables on it.
I don't hate. Well, they were starches. If they're cooked well, I don't mind some vegetables. It's just I grew up all vegetables were basically just steamed and they tasted horrible.
I got you. That's fair. Um, all I know is that I'm gonna open the door here into my life. I was so tired Saturday, so tired Saturday. We came home after eating, and I looked at Jen in the eyes and I said, "If it's not going to hurt your feelings, I just want to go straight to bed." And she goes, "Oh, straight to bed?" And I said, "No, to sleep." I said, I am so exhausted. I'm not even up for that tonight. If that's okay with you, if you need that, fine. If not, I would like to just go straight to bed. And she's like, "You're exhausted. You only had maybe 3 hours of sleep. That's perfectly fine." And
Yeah.
the next thing I know, it was the next morning. Like
Yeah.
I was out like a light.
I pretty
So,
much got home and fell asleep. I don't remember much.
so
Um and
that just shows how tired I am.
despite my telling the kids and everyone like I'm not going out of town, I'm just going to Norman. I'll be back. I came home. They're like, "What are you doing home?"
Are you serious?
Yes, they're all very smart.
Steve, you could have like got a hotel room and just had a nice little vacation.
I honestly should have. Like next year, you and I might just should do that so we can get away.
That'd be kind of cool.
So again, no sex, but in general.
Oh, never mind. I mean, you can do it by yourself then.
Right, I understand.
All right, let's take a quick little break here and we will talk about the next day, Spiky Cup. So here we are, Sunday morning. We are still tired, but both of us commented the first thing of like, "I'm very tired, but I feel much better than I did yesterday."
Yes.
We went and got some breakfast. We went down to Wizards. We didn't really have much to do. There wasn't much, to pick up because we did so much the night before. We enjoyed our food, and we decided to. I think we bought a team from the store so we could have just something to raffle off the
Mm-hmm.
next day for if anybody wanted to do it. But for the people that hung around, we had what was weird, like you said earlier, we had our biggest drop off. We had 34, is that correct?
We
For
went from 52 people to essentially
34, right?
36,
36. Okay.
35, and you.
Okay. We had now really those numbers are a little bit skewed. We had a few Oklahoma guys who were going to play, but the last second they texted and said, "Dude, I am so exhausted. I just wasn't prepared for 2 days of Blood
Yeah.
Bowl. I'm gonna bow out." And we were
And we
like,
had
"Okay,
someone else bow out due to personal reasons, so
yeah," and we totally get that too. So like,
of course.
um, I I went that morning about 3 different times to, "Well, Scott, you're playing. Cool. Well, now you're not playing. What? Scott, you're playing. Cool. You're not playing. What?" So,
Yeah.
and then finally, I got to play. So I was very happy that I wasn't gonna have to sit over there and talk about like weird theories on like Chaka from Land of the Lost. I'm
God.
not making this up. I'm not gonna get into what we
No, we
discussed,
are
but
not getting. See, if we do a Patreon, we could actually get into that stuff.
no, I don't know if we're getting into that one. But we had an in-depth discussion about Chaka and his race of people from Land of the Lost. And anyways, it was interesting.
That
There
makes
was a
it
lot of
sound
laughter.
worse when you said race. It had nothing to do with race. It had to do with.
His species, that's a race, right?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying it wasn't racial in
Oh,
undertones.
no. It wasn't a racial thing at all. It
No, it
was
was.
about species of Land of the Lost. We talked about the slee stacks too.
Right. Can
Anyways,
they interbreed? No. I'm surprised it didn't go there, but it didn't.
wow, we didn't. We're grown-ups, kind
Mm-hmm.
of. So Saturday though we had a big drop off, but like I said, we had so many people that came in just for the 1 day event and they wanted to travel home, and those are a lot of the people that said, "Yeah, we're going to be back next time, but we're staying the whole time."
Yeah, of
So I
course.
mean, um, anyway, still 36 people for a Sunday event is still good. and it could have been 40 people without all the circumstances that happened, but hey, I'll take it, right?
Yeah.
um do we
And with
know?
with any Spiky Cup, I had to go over certain rules multiple times, and people still didn't listen or didn't hear, or I wasn't clear, or
And I will let you, in case somebody's listening for the first time, really quick, give me the 30-second spiel of what the special rules of Spiky Cup were.
this year you had the 6 Spiky Stars were donating their stadium to have you use it. So each stadium had an effect. And then randomly, if you rolled a 12, then on a kickoff table, the star would come onto the pitch and do something. Actually happened more than I expected it to. Some people thought they just went on the pitch automatically, which was not the case. But it doesn't matter. It was still fun. Everyone still had fun. I have time for next year to figure out what I want to do, and we'll be doing something different.
Okay.
But I still do love those stars that Steve Wolfhard made us.
Yeah, those are epic for sure. um I don't know what to say here except I got to play, so I can at least tell you like what I played and what I did,
Yeah, go for it.
and then that will give you some kind of feedback. So my whole plan going into Orclahoma Weekend was to play Snotlings, just to kind of get them off the list. And if I got to play Saturday Snotlings, I was planning on playing, Sunday Old World Alliance. But since didn't get to play Saturday, I just moved my team over to. I made a roster for Sunday as well. So I played the Phoenix Snotlings because way back when I took them to Chaos Cup before there was a Snotling team, and I just played with a bunch of Snotlings, no ogres, Snotlings and stars. um, I just kind of followed up on that mainly because I've racked my brain, weeks before Oklahoma Bowl, and I didn't come up with anything like satisfying enough for me to have my own Snotling team. So I just went with something in the book, which I wish a lot of people would just go with sometimes instead of making up like their teams. But no here nor here nor there, so we'll just move on. I decided to play with Morgan Thorg. I got made fun of by Dustin and John because Morgan Thor is supposedly broken. I really wanted more than anything to use the model that Spencer painted for us, Spencer Stevens, many, many, many years ago. He painted. I was like, "Hey, man, I want to commission you to do my team," and he's like, "No, I'm really expensive." And then we agreed to do a model because he was trying to at the time be a professional painter
Yeah.
and stuff. And I believe he did a star for you as well, correct?
He's
He
done a
do
couple
his
of things for me.
okay.
Yeah.
I also wanted to play their Gold Tour. Dustin Parsons just finished painting the newest version of Varag. So I wanted to put both of those on my team. And I didn't want to go the cheaty route of like, I'm throwing bombs and I'm having the pump wagons and stuff like that. And I didn't have the models, to be quite honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't want to have to deal with the secret weapon stuff. That's like my biggest fear of with playing goblins is what if something really craps the bed and somebody scores quick and then I have to
Yeah.
blow through all my bribes and stuff. So my team was Morgan Thorg, Ver Goldshur. I had 2 trolls. I then had a fun hopper and a stilty runner just because I wanted to try them out and I needed to spend the money. And then the rest of them were just plain snotling players. One of them had sneaky get, one of them had wrestle, one of them had dauntless, and then my trolls had brawler and guard each. So they both had brawler and guard. Um, Brawler is a new skill to kind of go to if you have a big guy and you want to kind of get blocked, but you can't afford to get blocked.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's
that's a.
much
I mean,
cheaper.
it's not the greatest, but it's better than not having block or
Yeah.
spending the extra money for block, I should say. Granted, the wrestle dauntless that I got, those skills were normally secondary skills, so they cost 40K, but in the spiky rules for stunty teams, you got them for 30K. I had of course, I only had one dedicated fan. I had one reroll as well. Um, if this was like normal rules, I probably would have dropped both the Fun Hopper and the Stilty Runner, and then just probably took the Wrestle instead of Dauntless.
Yeah.
Um, but I played within the rules. So 1.3 million. Anyways, first round I played, I believe his name was Brian Ray. He had a goblin team. I think he's one of the Colorado guys because I saw him running a Colorado tournament this last weekend.
Would make sense.
I believe he came with Michael and TJ and all those
Yeah.
guys. Really nice guy. He had a goblin team with Creek. Is that his name, Creek?
Russ Gouger? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That guy looked like the MVP if you would have watched our game. I believe I won 1-0. So as we say, you can't complain if you win. And I'm not complaining, but I do want to talk about I almost pulled a Michael Lewis where I was almost rooting for my the enemy, the guy I was playing. You know how Michael does that? So
Yeah.
he's trying to pull off something amazing. Twice or three times, and I want to say three, but I might be over exaggerating. Creek was in the middle of nowhere, and he has further movement than a normal ball and chain guy.
Yeah.
He basically did a blitz action where he had to, he'd move left, he'd move right, he'd move straight, and eventually he would get to the ball carrier every dang time.
Jeez.
And I was just like laughing about it. I was like, at this point, like if you're going to do this, I guess I got to root for you to do it. And sure enough, he'd roll the one number he needed to get on that final hit every time. Like he did his full movement in both of his rushes. And on the last one, he got to the ball carrier every time. And we were just laughing about it. And he looked like a super all-star. And it made me think like, maybe I should take this guy more often because seems amazing for his value.
Not going to work for you.
No, it probably won't.
Oh, he's in the crowd again. Dang.
Exactly. He had all ball and chain guys, so his goblin team had nothing but ball and chain guys, and I managed to get rid of all of them except for Creek, and he still came back to haunt me, but I won 1-0. It was a really fun game. We laughed, we had a good time with it. I don't think I got too many bonus points, and Spiky's all about getting a lot of bonus points.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, good time. I was just happy to like pull off at really the way Creek was going. He kept hitting my ball carrier, knocking the ball out, but his guy couldn't pick it up if I remember correctly. So I thought at the very least I was going to get a tie, and I ended up getting the win out of this. So
that's good.
We then went to round 2. This is one of those times where we had things wrong in the computer. So I was very happy. I was playing, I think I was playing Chaos Dwarves, and somebody said, oh, that's wrong. And so then I was going to play Arthur McClellan, and he had goblins, and I was like really happy.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, oh no, something's wrong. And I got repaired up with Arthur again. So I was like really happy. And then I realized Brian, who I beat the last game, was ahead of me. And I said, Steve, check our score. And our score put me back playing the Chaos Dwarves again with the Snotlings.
Yeah, that was like, I don't even know what happened. I screwed up like 3 of them.
Well, I will say this year, I think you allowed more people to talk to you as you inputted stats than maybe you ever have.
I didn't have a buffer, especially on Sunday, because normally, you can serve as a buffer, or when we have this many people, typically Vin will come out and help. So he's the first one to put in.
Jennifer wasn't there or anything, so.
And then I'll double check and, but yeah, I didn't have that double check built in like I normally do.
So in round 2, I had to play Paul Davies, one of our league guys here in Oklahoma. He had Chaos Dwarves, and I was not looking forward to this matchup. This matchup went to time. Thank God, because I think if there was 10 more minutes left in the game, I'm pretty sure Paul would have scored. This game, just to sum it up, was 0-0. I was very happy to take the 0-0 tie when you play Chaos Dwarves and your Snotlings. Morg, once again, in game 1, Morg didn't do anything. In game 2, Morg did not do anything. I did have a chance to score, but Paul stopped me down by like 2 squares away from the end zone. Anyways, overall good game. I believe that we probably both should have sped up our time because we did not get to play as much of the game as we should have, but it was kind of both of our faults. So we just shook hands and moved on. I was very fortunate, though, that Paul did not hurt anybody, I believe, on my team until maybe turn 6 or 7 of the first half.
Jeez.
And it was one of those things where he was knocking me down, but not knocking me off the pitch. And that's a big, big deal, in these type of matchups. So anyways, we move on. We had lunch. I don't know what we had for
I had
lunch.
Jason's Deli.
Oh, we did have Jason's
I had
Deli.
a really good, I guess, rye sandwich, Reuben sandwich. I don't know.
Drew and the guys got us. They went to Jason's Deli. They picked us up a sandwich and stuff. Do you know that Jason's Deli has closed down since then?
Last week?
Yes,
No.
because last Thursday,
Yeah.
the week of Orclahoma Bowl, the same kind of week, just 4 days after, I went by Jason's Deli to get a sandwich before I worked Wizards running a Dragon Ball tournament.
Yeah.
And this location is no longer open. So
Wow.
we might have got the food on the very last day that they were open.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
However, when I was looking online, because I messed up in my head Jason's with McAllister's, McAllister's has the exact same website,
Huh.
same design and everything. So they might be the same company.
Maybe so. Anyways, we had a sandwich. We kept it simple. Came back, and this time I was in round 3. I was playing a gentleman named Matt Strickland, also from our Oklahoma League.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing ogres. He played ogres for the first time. I believe he won round 1 and lost round 2. And we were looking forward to just having kind of a fun match. I was kind of already satisfied. Like, I got to win. I got to tie somehow.
Yeah.
And I was like, really, even if I lose this game, that's a pretty good record with Snotlings. And I think he kind of felt the same way. Like, no matter what, I've had a pretty good outing first time with ogres. And then I wish I could say it was me, but dice happened, and not against me for once. My little sneaky get character was 3 for 3 on breaking armor and casualtying an ogre on his first 3 tries. At one point, I had 4 of his ogres in the casualty box, but no Snotlings, which tells you how the rest of the day went for Matt. He took it very well. He took it way better than I would. At one point, one of his ogres 3 turns in a row rolled bonehead trying to get up. I almost pitch cleared him. I was like one guy away from pitch clearing him. And I was like, man, I'm sorry. I said, I feel bad, but I have to try to pitch clear you because I
Bonus
have
points.
I have a chance to win this game, and it's bonus points, and that's so huge and spiky. And he said, no, I totally get it. He's like, it's just one of those games.
Yeah.
And it really was. Anytime he did try to do something, he rolled the worst dice possible, and most of the time I rolled the best dice possible.
Yeah.
Morg acted like the best all-star ever created. Like nothing he could do was wrong in this game. And I ended up winning 2-0. Like I said, almost pitch cleared him. I was just one guy away from doing so. And so I finished the tournament 2 wins, a tie, and no losses. So.
Not bad. Should I go ahead and go through the results with the
Yeah,
awards?
So real quick, in that last round, not that it really matters top table because it's all final points. I mean, like, I guess in theory, in Spiky Cup, if you've never been, you get bonus points for knockouts. You get bonus points for casualties. You get, I believe, from fouls and like crowd surfs, right?
Yeah.
Steve?
Yeah. Anything except failed dodges and stuff you
So
have no
why?
control over.
So yeah. So why, like,
Rushes.
you want to win because those are a lot of points. The bonus points are a big deal. Like Steve said in round 2, when I turned in my sheet, he goes, "That might be the lowest bonus points I've ever seen." Because I
Oh, it
had
is for sure. It was a
2
2.
bonus points. I had 2.
And you get 3 for finishing on time.
Right. I got 2 because I knocked out 1 hobgoblin the whole game. And I think my opponent only got 12. So like he didn't have many either.
No.
So
To put into perspective, the person who came in first, I think, got 78 round 1.
good Lord.
I think he casualtied 12 people.
Insane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, top table going into round 3 was Tim Lyons with his Snotling team, and Aaron, right? Aaron
Aaron
Franklin
Franklin with his
with
goblins.
his Goblin team. And of course, they could have been jumped easily by somebody else because it's always about points. So I will concede the rest of this to you.
Okay. Starting at the back of the pack, we have Kellen McClelland, which, again, you're right. He is the one who won the thing. I just was confusing the younger people.
Yeah, I think at one point somebody said they offered him like 300 something bucks for
350.
that team.
Yeah.
350, and he still didn't take it,
No.
which I don't blame him. That
No,
team
it's
is too
good
awesome.
because, I mean, it's still too low. And yeah, came in back of the pack, and I made the joke that he used up all of his luck the previous day, and he had because he had some really bad games, but he was a great sport throughout all of it all, so not a big deal. Stunty Cup went to Tim Lyons from Three Die Block. Best Sportsman David Norcross. Fan favorite Mike Patterson just blew away everybody else with his pirate team. Like I just stopped counting. Most brutal was Jason Campbell. Forget how many he had, but it was a lot.
He had, if I remember right, he had the dwarf team with a death roller and Griff, maybe, or was it just a
Sounds
death roller?
right. He had 17 casualties.
Okay, but didn't he have a death roller
I,
and
I
maybe Griff?
yeah, I think so. I couldn't tell you.
I remember when he turned in his roster, he said, "This is probably really stupid," but he's probably pretty happy that he got
Yeah.
most casualties now. So.
Best defense went to Scott Prime.
Yeah, baby. Thank God we give out 1, 2, and 3 to the 1, 2, 3 guys because I believe number 3 had also 0 touchdowns allowed. But I will take any award and a 6th place in a field of like 34, 36
Yeah.
any day of the week. So
Best offense was Sean Cowley. Delzine Cup went to TJ Jackson.
he had a
Who
good, I think he went undefeated. I think he had like a ton of touchdowns and 0 allowed as well.
yeah, after the first game, I was like, "Do you want me to just give you the best offense award now or later?" He had 6 touchdowns in that first game. 6.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But he ended up getting third. Second place was Brian 2. And the champion, Aaron Franklin, with his Wistful Wars, the Goblin team, taking home Spiky Cup.
The first time ever goblins get first place at a goblin themed fluffed tournament put on by Spiky Norman, the second edition goblin
It's
from years of Blood Bowl past.
It's
Isn't it
insane.
amazing, Steve?
It's insane that this happened. Both of them taking down the prospective championships for their races. In his team, we have two trained trolls. He had Glart Smashrip, Fungus the Loon, 6 linemen, an Ooligan with Sneaky Git, a Looney, 2 bribes, a Doomdiver, Fanatic, 2 rerolls, and a biased ref. So he only took 1 skill.
Well, it worked, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm. It sure did. He just went ham. He went ham on everybody. It was insane. Like, I don't
I believe
want to
him
throw Jason under. Obviously we do share the wealth, and he won the award. Absolutely, he deserves it. Aaron had 26 casualties in 3 games.
Well, I know him and Tim had a really close game. I think it was 2-1 at that top table.
Yeah, it was.
So,
And he got 9 casualties.
That's so crazy, man.
Oh, wait. So I'm looking at the right ones? I'm looking at the wrong one. Oh, whatever.
You're a statistician, Steve.
I know.
I'm just teasing.
It's got his wrong team name in there. That's my bad.
Oh, okay.
Score was... We updated Score because we had to for 2020. If you don't know, Score is the NAF software that everyone uses to run tournaments, or most people do. And it's usually good. It's not so good when you import the information and then you go to add someone and it won't let you, so you have to write over someone's name, and then it went
Yeah,
all funky on me.
yeah.
I thought I'd lost everything after the first round. I'm like, ah, oh, damn it.
I of course I would always rather win the event, but I'm very happy from a fluff standpoint. And you couldn't ask for it at a better time, right? The
Right.
10th anniversary of the weekend, Orcs winning Orclahoma Bowl, the Goblins winning Spiky Cup. I mean, that was just like you can't write that like any better.
I wouldn't
And
believe it if I wasn't there.
for sure wouldn't have believed it if I wasn't there. And so like it's just crazy, and it made me really happy. And it I know nobody else cares probably or thinks about it.
Well, if they're listening, they probably care. Only
Well,
somewhat.
I guess somewhat, or they're bored on their drive.
That's
Hi,
that
Phil.
too.
um,
No, bike ride, not drive.
Almost every Oklahoma Bowl since the first or second one, in my brain, there is a theme to it. There's a reason why this star player gets allowed and this one doesn't. Why this group of star players comes in and this one doesn't. Like this one, it was, they wanted to pull Crom from the future and the Crom from the past and let them all play.
Mm-hmm.
I always try to have something themey in my brain, and I know you do too with Spiky because
Yeah, of
you always
course.
have some crazy rules, but you validate your reasonings for all these things.
Right.
And so what I'm trying to tell you is in our brain, we're still role playing. This is fluff. You guys are playing in our sandbox. And the fact that we have goblins and orcs both winning it, and let alone winning it at the same time on the same weekend at the 10th one is just really magical, and it makes my little fantasy sports role-playing game heart melt. So
And they'll put aside the differences for next year, and I will take over the 4 game tournament, and you will take over the 3 game tournament, and we'll turn Oklahoma into craziness. No,
boy, I don't know
it's
about
not
that.
happening.
I don't know about
No, people would not enjoy that. Some people would. Most people would just like, no.
that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. People might love Spiky, but man, that
It's a good dessert after the steak dinner at Orla.
I have to tell my brain just worry about yourself because you can't worry about anything else.
Yeah,
You just play your game, and if you happen, somebody was talking about, I'd like to win this at Spiky, and I was like, you just got to play your games, and if something happens, it happens.
yeah.
So
I usually will go in trying to just win, and then rarely have a time where, like that Chaos Cup, that one time, like, oh, I could get most casualties. Awesome, let's go for it, and fail. Oh, I could get back of the pack. Awesome, let's go and fail. So what I'm
yeah, you're
saying
supposed to
is,
fail.
I'll fail. And the one time I could have won an award, I just didn't push hard enough. I let my opponents quit the game. I could have got 3 more touchdowns at World Cup. Easy.
Oh, that sucks.
Ah,
I'm not going to get into it now, but I'm going to save it for a couple episodes from now or something, or
yeah.
maybe next episode. There's a few things that kind of got brought up over the weekend, just things that some people don't know or do know. And I think it's always good to kind of remind people about some tournament just things that people aren't used to. And people come from like Magic the Gathering, people come from other games, so they might not be used to things, and we will talk
We
about that
had a
at some
couple
other
of
point.
people talk and write in like everything went great. I was nervous coming in because I'd never played in a tournament before because this was a lot of people's first times. So
Yes.
that's probably something that we could look into. I know we've done them multiple times, but we could look into doing a new player's guide to tournaments, and in the future, like when we put out the rules, we could say if you're new, go listen to this podcast, and it'll give you all you need to know about the tournaments.
That's true.
I think my main feedback we got, because we ask very bluntly to everybody, like, don't spare our feelings. Tell us what went wrong, what you liked, what you didn't like, so that we can make it better. I don't think we
Yeah.
got any negative feedback. And the positive feedback was mostly, this was awesome. You know, someone's like, I listened to the podcast and I heard you guys talk about how it's a nice community and inclusive and people are much nicer than other games. And it was a pleasure to come and see that for what it is. And it really is. Like, random people, never met in my life, we can just have nice conversations, hang out. You saw people who didn't know each other going to lunch together, having dinner, or, sharing a case of beer at dinner, stuff like that.
Sure.
So it is awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time. So it's still, if you're listening and you thought of something that you didn't like, seriously, please tell us, because that's the only way we can learn. And we're not going to get butt hurt too bad.
I would say the best compliment we got was from Tim when he said that every time he comes to our tournaments, it makes him want to run a better one.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Every time we go to a tournament, we're watching,
Yeah.
we're grading, and we're trying to pick
Like,
up on things that people do good too. We
yeah.
say, "Oh, that's a great idea."
Mm-hmm.
We might modify it a little bit, or we say, like, "Why don't we do this?" or "Why don't we get better at doing
Yeah.
this?" And so we do the same thing,
Of
and
course.
that's how you grow, right? You kind of like, it's a community.
Yep.
So, all right, we've talked enough about this. Congratulations to all the award winners for both days. And we will come back and probably just quickly wrap this up.
Sounds good. And with the wrap up of another Orclahoma weekend, that brings us to Scott's favorite segment.
Shout outs!
That was a kind of a defeated shout outs, but I'll take it.
You know what? Scott's kind of tired and defeated.
I mean, that makes sense then. First off, we cannot thank people enough for their donations to the tournament, for the donations of time, for having 52 people in a tight space. Wasn't that bad, but just no issues. No fights, no complaining, no yelling, no throwing dice. I didn't check on
um,
the bathrooms, but
Let me tell you something. I did. And maybe people heed my advice when I said, if you're a big man and you can't see it, just sit down to pee. Because I do that all the time at home, because I live in a house of nothing but girls. So to make sure I don't pee on the toilet seat, I just sit down and pee. It's actually refreshing. So I told people this, and I think they might have listened to me, Steve, because when I did check, I did not see any pee on the floor, and nobody at the store. This is the first Orclahoma Bowl that employees at Wizards didn't come to me and say, your guys are peeing on the floor.
right.
Now they blame us. So I'm not saying that we always do it,
No.
but we get the blame for it, even if other gamers do it, because there's so many of us there. So this is the first time I didn't hear anything like that. So congratulations to you guys. For real, we saw a ton of people. It just, again, at the end of the whole weekend, I felt like I didn't hang out with people enough, and yet I was really exhausted, because it really did feel like I hung out with my 50 plus best friends. And it feels that way because everybody's so nice and giving and loving and everything. And like, I probably gave more hugs this Orclahoma Bowl weekend than maybe at any other event. And I'm not always a huggy guy, but I don't mind hugs. But like, it felt good to do this again after a couple years off with all the COVID stuff.
It definitely did. And
it
we
just
did.
made you remember why you love Blood Bowl, or at least the people that play Blood Bowl, even if you have a bad day. You know.
Yeah, and we did have. I alluded to it. We did have a player drop on Sunday due to a personal reason. I'm not getting into what that is or who it is, because that's not anyone else's business. But the fact that they basically had to leave the store because too many people were coming up to them and giving support. I
Yeah.
mean, it
But
it passes a sense of friendship at some point where it almost seems like family, you know.
it sure does. And I want to thank everybody. So many people. I'm blessed in many things with friends and stuff like this, because I always say I don't have, like, I'm not rich. I'm not poor either, but I'm not rich. And, maybe I don't have a giant house or 4 cars and a boat and a lake house, but I am very, very blessed with so many people in my life that, for whatever strange reason, feels like they give a shit about me.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel really good. And
Same here.
it was a birthday weekend, and, turning 48, you're almost 50, and if you're 50, you might as well be 60, and if you're 60, you might as well be dead.
I don't
You guys,
think that's how that works, but
I
I
know,
understand with the yeah, I understand what you
I
mean.
know, I you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm starting to recognize my mortality. How about that?
yeah.
But anyways, people, brought little goofy things to give me, or some really nice gifts, like, hey, you can have this for your
Oh,
birthday. And I
speaking,
have no idea why you people enjoy us enough to do that, but thank you, because that really made me feel really good, actually.
yeah.
And I needed that maybe more than I thought. And maybe I needed to host a Blood Bowl tournament and hang out with some people across the country. So
For
maybe
sure.
that was all needed for all of us. And, I think
It
it's
was
going to be
very
just,
cathartic just seeing people again.
yeah.
So speaking
I,
of goofy little gifts, Joe Smith again brought me gummy bears,
oh,
and
the terrible ones too.
no, they're the best. They're the Haribo ones, and they
Get
had
out of
little
here.
blue hats this time because it's the 100-year anniversary or whatever. So that being said, they had on the back what each flavor of gummy bears is. And do you know what the green gummy bear is? What flavor?
Dang it. I only know this because we talked about it. Strawberry.
It's strawberry. I don't know how green is strawberry, but it is. And that was my nugget of information that blew my mind this weekend. But yeah, big shout outs again to Wizards for hosting us. Ye Old Lasersmith, Windmilled Games, Brian, not Brian, that's Wizards. William Toops, Sean Cowley. I know I'm forgetting people.
Sean, I'm going to apologize right now. For whatever reason, I want to always say your name is Sean Crawley,
I
and it's
know.
not, it's Cowley. Sorry, 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 sorry. I don't know where I picked that up and got it, but I always want to, even when I see it on your name tag, I want to say it wrong.
Mm-hmm. It's a common thing. I don't know why, but yeah. Anyone who donated anything, anyone who purchased raffle tickets, anyone who donated money towards Friends of Nuffle, anyone who just came out and showed. I mean, we had a random person just show up, be like, "Hey, I wasn't able to make the tournament, but I just wanted to show up and say hi."
Yeah, he
Like,
loved you.
yeah,
Yeah. And I'm going to give him a non shout out because he said he didn't like me. So there.
I think he was just flirting with you.
Oh, he was definitely flirting with you. He wanted some killy woggy for
Uh,
sure. He
uh,
said he loved you and he hated me. And I can understand why.
well, yeah. I mean, that's just how it typically goes.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
Next year, plan on coming. We will have the Sacred 11th tournament. It's going to be awesome. We are going to start working on it very shortly. Um,
Or probably not.
no,
Steve just says that.
I've started already. It's just a matter
Okay.
of you getting a logo done that has to dictate most stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, but yeah, aside from that, I think that's probably it for Oklahoma stuff. Did
If you're listening and you were at the tournament, if you don't want to give us feedback on like what we did wrong or what we did great on, suggestions on things that you might like,
yeah,
because like the balls were very handy. I think it was William Toops that printed the
yes,
balls.
he did.
I saw those used everywhere we went. People were using them. They were just handy that somebody
Mm-hmm.
had those and we were able to give those away. There might be something else you might really love and that we can't think of. I know the
We're
kickoff dice, most of the people when I used it or they saw it, they were like, oh, that's really
yeah,
cool.
we
And
need to do kick out dice again. I do love those.
so
Um,
just if you might think of something that we don't. I know Joe
yeah,
Smith made a I didn't know this at first. I thought it was just a scatter template with a picture of the ball on it. And then I'm not kidding. Just today I realized, oh, that's also a ball token.
mm-hmm.
um, he made those. That was really cool. And people were using those. So it's nice to see these items get used and stuff.
Yeah,
But if there's something like you're dying for that we can't think of, maybe you hated the D8 with the logo on it, but you really wanted some both down just logo dice just because. Let us know.
or if there's a certain type of player you'd like instead of a sideline figure or a random star you'll probably never use, or we're open to suggestions.
Yeah, anything like that. So, anyways, I enjoyed seeing everybody.
Yeah.
And
Did you want to talk about World Cup for some reason? Or you want to save it?
how about we just save it for next time?
Okay.
It's getting late, and I kind of got like a weird rant, and you're going to tell me, you're going to give me your Steve advice anyways, and maybe nobody even cares.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Scott wants to go, but he can't commit
Scott wants to
this
do a
early.
lot of things.
Yeah.
Scott has kids that he loves, and Steve has kids he hates.
Yeah. Yeah, I would sell him to go in a heartbeat. That's fine. Yeah, like I'll figure out a way. I mean, I will, especially with my job, to where they pretty much don't care. I can just take off the time and take the laptop with me and work a couple hours if I need to, or whatever. Yeah, whatever. I will find a way.
Anyways, I think that wraps up the whole weekend itself. And again, we don't have that without you. It's hard to believe that this tournament at one point, I think the first one had 20 people. Is that correct?
24?
Something like that. We were very happy to break 20. That's for sure.
We were amazed then. Like, this will never get bigger.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, thank you for everybody. And thank you, Steve, for running it and putting up with me. And
I can't do it alone. Trust me.
I know, but I never really feel like I do enough either. So like, anyways, that's just how it goes. You never feel like you can do enough. So.
Yep.
All right. Well, if you don't have nothing else to say, then we're out of 5G, as the gangsters would say.
I don't think they say that, but okay. We will out.
I was told that by a white guy, that gangsters say, I'm outie 5G. That means I will see you later.
Gangsters or gangstas?
Ooh.
Because I only roll with gangsters.
Ooh. That's a great... I'll have to find them.
And they usually are like, yeah, give me my money, see? Yeah.
Oh.
So, it's just different ways of going.
Well, outie 5G.
Yeah.
You can follow Both Down on Twitter at Both Down. You can follow Scott at
Real Scott Prime.
and Steve at Kilowog2814. If you'd like to email them, the email address is bothdownpodcasts@gmail.com. Or for more information, you can visit them at bothdown.com or at facebook.com/bothdown.
Hey Emma, welcome back.
Hey Melissa, it's good to see you. How you been?
Freaking great. I'm so happy.
That's great. I mean, the last time I was here, it was your first season, right?
Yep, and I've grown so much since then, especially in the self-love/confidence department.
Well, that's cool. I'll see you.
You know, I just had to look at myself and say, hey, you're cool, Melissa. Let yourself rejoice in who you are. And you know what? I found a lot of peace through my hobbies.
That's neat.
Hey, you want to hear about them?
I mean, I have to learn all that
Great.
stuff.
I'm gonna rap. Yo, this goes out to all the hobby enthusiasts. When I'm not at work, what do? I do sexy Melissa things that I'm into. They're called hobbies. I'm talking hobbies. Yeah. Creative artsy type, that's me, alright. Late at night, drawing with my Pixar light. Gotta get the shading on my face just right. I'm doing a self-portrait in charcoal, y'all. It's crazy. These are my hobbies. These are my hobbies. I like biking, hiking, smelling my books. I like drawing, painting, cooking for one. I like sewing, knitting, smelling my books. I like napping, waking up and talking like Gandalf.
Wait, hold on. Gandalf.
I wake up, I go, that was a good nap.
Awesome. And you smell your books?
Oh yeah, you gotta smell books.
I'm sorry to do this. I really have to get going. I just gotta...
Oh, I'm almost done though.
Okay.
I just ordered some sick binoculars so I can bird watch and study these big old birds. Jealous? Jealous? Yeah, you're jealous. I like dreaming, singing, working on my posture, notebooks, planners, hugging my backpack. I like silence, karate, get away from my backpack. Everyone wants my art supply center inside my backpack. Get your own.
We need Emma on set. Emma Stone to the set, please.
Oh, shoot. They need me on set. So annoying.
Yeah, no, that sounds annoying. Almost as annoying as when someone interrupts you while you're rapping about your hobbies.
I don't think I've interrupted.
Twice. You've interrupted twice. Emma Stone? More like, I'm a stone. Because stones don't have feelings. And that's you.
I am not a stone. And the truth is, I do have a hobby. I was just embarrassed.
Never be embarrassed of your hobby. It's a part of you.
I'm gonna rap now.
Got a tiny town full of figurines. I've been carving them since I was 15. It's called Emmaville, and I'm the queen. It's the cutest little town you've ever seen. There's Barry the mailman, and Peter the jester, and the town gossip whose name is Chester. A cheeky little goof who's full of secrets. A whole lot more that I'll tell you all about.
Well, let's set a set, please. Oh, you heard him. I gotta go.
Well, hey, maybe we could. And she's gone. She's gone.